get through the other one in order to do it. Johnny, Luminosity have finally found themselves in the upper bracket, but they've got themselves a tough task ahead.
Yeah, this is a great chance for them to prove that they are one of the top teams in EU. Everybody's been thinking that this team looks pretty good on paper, but the draw just wasn't that good for them in the first two events. They kept on losing to BDS. Well, they've had their revenge against BDS. Now they've got to go extremely deep in this event. Endpoint also having a much trickier split than they did the first time around. Who's going to show up on the day? The pressure is at climax here. Luminosity have to keep up their insane run of form that they've already got this event.
Reminder as well, winning this is guaranteed at least third place. You put themselves into that upper bracket final. Means that the worst you can do is lose in the lower bracket final. There's a hefty chunk of points on the line. You're skipping the queue for an awful lot of lower bracket rounds. So who can take it? As always as well, best of 7 means that we have got our eventual timeouts. We know how good Endpoint are at using those. Luminosity, however, less so. More of an unknown as to how they will react. We do see Atomic Shot. Nothing really all that troubling for Relating Wave. This is where Luminosity want to keep this game. Do not want that ball bouncing easily to Seiko either. Had a very good battle between Seiko and Archie yesterday, but Seiko just seems like when the pressure is on, it doesn't phase him. He plays game 1 the same way as he plays game 7.
Yeah, Seiko's been absolutely one of the best players in the world this season. That's a very nice bump by Ixo. He's going to take the ball off of Endpoint. And so far, it's been mostly Luminosity posturing aggressively, but you got to look out for the counterattacks with Endpoint. Seiko, one of the most dangerous players at taking the ball one end of the field to the other with an air dribble. Always going to have a reset. Minimum 1. Maybe we'll get another double from him. Here he is, Seiko double off the ceiling. Top corner shot. What an opening for the French Wonder Kid.
Well, no wonder why everyone's talking about him. There is no such thing as a one tournament wonder when it comes to Seiko. He made his mark, and he has continued to do the exact same thing over and over again, no matter who he is up against. It's just amazing play after amazing play. And a bit of a warning shot as well for Luminosity. They look to try and counter, get their own goal back nice and quick. For me here, though, the player to watch is going to be Metanaris over on Endpoint, because if there is somebody there that is going to be a little bit more static and a little bit more open to just being bumped and wiped off the play, Metzer is that player. So if Luminosity can start to target him, that might be an option, as they've actually targeted Atomic. And there's been so much respect. That's just what you do. Leave Atomic downfield and let him being in the air just cause some chaos.
Yeah, Atomic's been phenomenal in this roster. I think having Tox backing him up has given him so much confidence to advance, whereas in other rosters we've seen this guy play in, he's having to be a bit more defensive. He's having to think twice about moving forward a lot of the time. Tox, such a solid third to have behind you. Rarely mispositioning. Atomic now with the double tap is saved on the goal line by Relate Wave. Don't think he knew much about that one, but great positioning by Wave. Keep this at 1-0.
Literally anywhere else and that's it. And that is something that will definitely stick with you after you've taken the shot. But Luminosity doing very well at maintaining this sort of control, but Endpoint, they don't really make all that many mistakes here. Over off the backboard. Metzer tries to find the clear, but Ixo's landing not helping him out too much. Endpoint still up against the pressure, but that's the sort of clear they want to get, and that's the player that they want doing it.
They're just trying to get the ball towards Seiko, just offload in his direction. That wasn't far off from another double tap attempt. This time off the back wall from Seiko. Got away from him slightly. Here he is again, always finding space, always finding an angle to lurk downfield, make himself a passing option. Endpoint really bring the absolute best out of him. Wave and Metza always able to supply him with the perfect passes. Ixo now letting Tox come through. Seiko shuts down that play on the back wall, transitions all the way himself. As we get towards the final minute now, LG have had the majority of the territory to work with. Endpoint keeping everybody except Atomic shots to a bare minimum. It's Atomic with 7 shots, now make it 8. It's only 1 for Ixo, none for Tox. It's really just been Atomic who's getting the opportunities for LG this game.
And I still just want to remind everybody as well about that shot that we saw that Relating Wave was somehow just in the right position for. And as we head into the final 50 seconds, that save becomes more and more relevant. Relating Wave being bullied by Atomic, who misses the shot. Couldn't quite juggle enough. And between Relating Wave and the shot itself, just was one step too far for him. But Luminosity look like they belong at this stage at the moment, just can't find the finish of the play.
Yeah, 9 shots now for Atomic. They're still pressing. Got 3 players ready to get into the attack here as Wave misses. That's left the middle wide open. Tox decides to go by himself. He does get a 50-50 in the play. Metza jumps over the attempted bump, clears the ball to halfway, sent back into the middle already, and Ixo trying to keep the attack alive. He's trying to keep this in the middle, but it's difficult for LG to get shots when the ball just keeps running across the box like this.
How comfortable have Endpoint been? 1 real chance, well 2, if we include the one that was off the post, across 5 minutes. That is not much. Endpoint have kept Luminosity very quiet. And it's just that little extra that Endpoint are warning Luminosity they're going to need. That as good as you might be in the neutral game, if you lose a goal to us, no matter where it is, no matter where it's from, you've now got to try and break us down. And you've also got to worry about Seiko loitering in the midfield. I want to discuss this a little bit, which is just the amount of trust that we've seen Seiko display in Relating Wave and Metza, because he just loiters. There is no rush to get back. But if you had 2 players that you are going to trust in that position, those are the 2.
Yeah, he knows that he can make those runs, and he's going to be receiving passes. Of course, it's so frustrating when you're playing Rocket League and you make a great run down the line and your teammate just clears the ball straight down the middle of the pitch, giving it away to the opposition defense. But you don't see that out of Endpoint. They're trying to pass the ball out of defense. They're trying to offload it to Seiko, who's finding space. He's hiding in the back corners. He's getting up on the side wall. You've really got to keep an eye on this guy, because when he gets these opportunities, he's going to get one in eventually. And it's Seiko's solo play that was the difference in this game. And LG, they just couldn't get their shooting boots on. Atomic, mainly 9 shots, no goals.
Yeah, I'm more disappointed actually they didn't reach 10. It just seemed like it was inevitability by the end of that. But yeah, Luminosity, good possession. If they can get some way of opening up this field, and I can't just say it's as simple as, oh, go and bump this guy or get the infield. Like, that is a defense that Relating Wave and Metza are fully aware of how to deal with. But I would like to see a little bit more of a mix-up. Maybe Atomic can just like slow down the shots. 9 is a lot. Obviously, you can take them to just sort of put a player out of position, waste a little bit of boost, but it's not quite working at the moment. As we do take a quick break here, also try and sort out some of the cams. But when you look over at Luminosity, is this a team right now that you're looking at, not just as a potential top 5, but as this team can challenge for championships?
Well, certainly. I think they've got the chance to do that. No team in Europe looks just head and shoulders above everybody else. Well, we've got that top 3 of Queso, BDS, and Dignitas, but Dignitas have lost plenty of group stage matchup this split. Queso this weekend with the same thing. BDS already out, so it's feasible. It's definitely something that we have to consider, the possibility of Luminosity just winning this entire event. But Endpoint, they're getting back to their best here. They started off slow this split, and they're definitely looking like the Endpoint that dominated the first split in Europe, with Seiko scoring so many unbelievable goals, and Metza and Relating Wave just not putting any feet wrong.
Yeah, Seiko's having a brilliant weekend for himself right now. The shots that we got yesterday on the stream, fantastic. The double flip reset. This is a player that, and this is something that has, frustrated me for the longest time. If we hear so many players of, this player's great in scrims, but we get them onto the RLCS stage and we don't know if that is the same player anymore. Seiko transitions whatever he does in scrims seamlessly into the highest level of play. And we've now got a player that is utilizing the name value. This may be something that was missing from him initially, where, oh, he's doing great things, we didn't expect that. Now players are expecting it. And that is giving teams more reasons to pause. They're sitting further back. They're trying to get to him. And it's opening up options for Endpoint, because everyone's got to stop Seiko. You've got to get somebody there. Don't leave him to do what he wants to do. So now that time has gone on, and Seiko has just got that reputation to go along with his gameplay, Endpoint can start to cash in on that.
Yeah, everybody knows you've got to challenge early any of these super mechanical aerial plays, but especially Seiko. And it speaks to Seiko's worth as a player that he's still, even though everybody's trying to challenge him all the time, he's still able to create space for himself. He's still able to get those opportunities. All about the positioning. And for him, it's all about just having as many options as possible whenever he is making a play. He doesn't just commit on one. He's always got a reset or something else. He's always got the mind game or something else. Either got the double tap or the direct shot.
Do you know what the play is that he's got, for me, that really steps him up to that next level? Is he's got that ceiling double tap. If somebody tries to get there and outpace him, he is so happy to put that off the ceiling and hit it on its way back down. You can't just get there first now. It's so much harder than that.
Yeah, it's because he's able to keep control while playing these exchanges. That's great defense by seicO now. Do see him on the back end of the pitch making plays also. Just keep an eye on the options that he's got available to him at any given time. EXO trying to catch Endpoint off the goal line. You've got to think that's not going to work against Endpoint of all teams. But at the same time, EXO wants to keep them guessing, wants to make sure that if they were thinking about stepping everybody forward, moving up that defensive line, no longer the case. Mesa now misses. Relating Wave will have Atomic shot under control though. And here comes seicO. Tox is already up, but look at seicO getting such a high flip of the ball and still somehow almost getting back to it.
And just like that, the transition was going towards Endpoint. Now it becomes a bit more difficult, but we have reached 7 minutes of open play. No goals over for Luminosity, despite their best efforts. Only 1 over for Endpoint, but it was the most important one of this series, quite obviously. Relating Wave, once again, tries to clear. No misplays there from Luminosity. In fact, that was inviting for EXO. Didn't want to quite go for it, however. Tox to himself. Zero boost means that there's no real follow-up at the moment, but again, Luminosity starting to press into that final third. Just need to make sure that those boost totals are very strong because they can't afford to be caught out on the counterattack. And here it comes yet again. Metza blasts it. seicO realizes he's got a bit of space. Not a good shot by his own standards, but at least he put it low so Atomic couldn't clear all that solidly.
Yeah, it was definitely awkward for Atomic. He's done well there. He's rushing a little bit here. I'm not sure if that was really Atomic's ball to be going for. You know, it's more of an interesting stat than highlighting the real problem with LG, but 12 shots now for Atomic between these games, still no goals. You're not always supposed to be scoring with every shot. Of course, you can create bad saves, get pressure for your team, shoot, steal a boost. There's lots of reasons to be shooting without really any expectation of scoring. It's again, Atomic making the shot that leads to an EXO boost steal. They are benefiting from these shots, but still no goals, despite 13 now on the board for him.
Might as well just add another one after the fact anyway, as Atomic was trying to find seicO. seicO actually misses the in and out save. This is good pressure. Shot off the post. Atomic almost found the angle, and now we're on to the other side of the field. Metza off the backboard, but as you said, Johnny, it's going to take something special right now to get Atomic any sort of goal.
Oh no, he's going to shoot again. Okay. He's on 15 shots,
no
Metza. Goals.
All right, good back pass.
That would be great if somehow it ended up going in and Atomic gets the credit without even shooting. How ironic. After all the attempted shots he's had. Here comes seicO again. Atomic is flying right in front of him, just getting as big as possible midair. Try and stop seicO's air dribble before he gets anywhere near the net. At the moment, kept seicO a lot quieter than he was in game number 1.
Well, seicO downfield as always. He does have Metza in support. A 0 boost Metza, but Car was around nonetheless. Lane Wave once again back in. Nice to already see that back boost was stolen. Pick up by seicO. He's got time. Atomic up in the air. He's beat to it. seicO leaves it for a Relating Wave. 1-0. And Endpoint are doing everything right.
seicO is just completely undefendable. That first touch is pure perfection. And he air dribbles straight over the top of the challenge as well, making sure to guide that ball into the crossbar. Not as important to worry about getting a shot on target there for seicO. It's all about the outplay. There's a goal in game 1, the assist in game 2. seicO is the difference.
And when we see playstyles like this, where seicO is out of the rotation quite a fair whack, he is really relying on Relating Wave and Metza to make sure they hold down the fort. But because of that and the amount of trust they've got, you only need the one chance. And when you've got a player like seicO, he needs to deliver those chances and those opportunities. He's done exactly that yet again. 10 seconds left here. Off the backboard, Relating Wave would like to get there in time. Instead, it's up to Metza and seicO just to hold back. And Metza will do exactly that. Took every second he could before he was forced to play it. Now looking to get the ball down to the floor. It will do exactly that. And Endpoint are 2-0. And Johnny, this is where I'd like to put the petition for it to be a best of 5, because Got the 1-0. I've got the 1-0. And it just happens to be the best of 7. So I'm upset right now.
Have you ever tested a 1-0, 1-0, 1-0?
I've not.
Yet?
Why do you think I'm
Never.
so desperate for it?
Never happened for yourself, of course. But
hey, it's being 1-0 and then it goes 2-1 or something in game 4. I'll be so heartbroken.
Well, let's see. I can see it happening because the shooting boots are just not there for Atomic. He's on 15 shots, no goals. And, you know, like I was saying, that's not the only problem that Luminosity have got. Far from it. They, you know, they need Tox, they need Ixo to be following up on these shots. That they are leading to pressure plays for Luminosity. But their main issue, Seiko. I mean, how do you defend this guy? They're not even playing him too badly. They did give the ball to him in that last game, but you know, miss hits are going to happen. I feel like Seiko's going to get a chance to score on your net or at least set up an undefendable shot eventually. The main issue is they just aren't getting enough clear-cut chances for themselves in now 10 minutes of gameplay.
So, Endpoint know their play style, they know the objectives, and they've been executing on the Metza. Early goal from him, much to my dismay, but to Endpoint fans, absolute joy.
I love the little delay on the shot here from Metza Norris. Goalkeeper thinks he's going to shoot bottom left. They think that's the pre-jump to cover the closer corner. The last second, they realize to the horror that Metz is actually going to wait for that ball to come across the box and then shoot it. And already we get that 1-0 lead for Endpoint. Surely LG are going to make something happen. Surely now that they're down early on, it's not a late goal where they're sitting on a tie all game, that they're going to let the caution loose a little bit, see if they can make something happen in offense.
Right in wave again. Starting to flex some of his own mechanical muscle. So just daring somebody, but there has not been a threat. Game 1 was the better of them for Luminosity. That's where they had their best chances. Still, no goals for them. Stop there in the midfield. Relating wave backs down for Metsu, who's just going to shadow defend. Geek's already up, wins the race off the backboard. They need somebody there, and it was Atomic. But Metsu didn't even play the ball. He was just getting in the way.
Yeah, great stuff there from Ixo in the setup, but Metzenor stays in the middle of the box, gets the Pearly to challenge. Now it's Relating Wave, stopping Tox's advance. Atomic taking more of a defensive position here in this game. Wonder if that's going to continue, or if it just happens to be how the game has gone so far. Not always a conscious decision to play more defense. That sometimes just happens as a result of the fluid nature of Rocket League 3s.
It can also happen to you once you're very aware that Seiko is playing like Seiko today. And you probably do need to step back a little bit and run onto the save. The result status currently is Endpoint will not be qualified just yet, but they will guarantee a tiebreaker at worst. And that is if a lot of results go against them, including 0-0 Nation winning the event.
That would be something. 0-0 Nation clinching by winning the event, and then EG Endpoint tiebreaker. If EG end up in that scenario later on today. But you've got to think if Endpoint win here, it is surely in the bag for them. Although I know they're not going to think like that. They'll wait and see 0-0 Nation losing before being fully confident.
Metz tries to play out. This is where Luminosity had Endpoint in the first sit game. Didn't get anything there, haven't got anything here. So that miss from Atomic might break down this offense. The demo on the back line, but there's still options. Didn't matter if you demoed one, there was another one back around off the backboard yet again. Third man still trying to get into rotation. Atomic tried to get it back to himself. Just a lack of ideas at this point for Luminosity. They've tried so many different things. None of them will work. That one's off the backboard, second touch. Not available for Tox. And Seiko will dance out of his side of the field.
Oh, it's such a good pass again, but the shot is lacking. And that's the main clear issue for Luminosity. But I think fundamentally coming into this matchup, they might have been a bit too passive against Endpoint. We're just not making any mistakes. They're getting goal side of every single ball. Well, now here's another chance. The bump on Seiko lands a bit too late. Metzenor scoops the ball off the goal line and to safety. Tox is forced to scramble back the offense. Once again, fruitless for Luminosity.
Just doesn't look like anything's going to work out for them at this point. Relating wave back out, looking for Seiko. As Atomic gets the save, a save that he doesn't want really to be forced to make. Time running out here. Still the timeout available. But is it going to be too late? Do they need to get something going here?
Surely.
Right here, right now, as Atomic tries underneath. And Relating Wave just charges him down. They're looking for the demos. They're looking for the infields. Nothing will get past Endpoint.
Oh, this is perfect play again from Relating Wave. He's in a 1v2, but manages to get a challenge in without really leaving the net open for any moment of his approach and avoiding a demo while doing so, like you mentioned. Pure frustration for Luminosity. This is a game they've been trailing almost the entirety. And they have watched chance after chance disappear before their very eyes, despite their creativity in the setups. Now Atomic pre-jumping. They're trying anything here, but nothing working against this Endpoint defense.
Booming clear. Seiko goes up, wants to find it. He gets set up for Metanoris. And another save, a crucial one from Atomic. 25 seconds, no goals scored in almost 15 minutes of gameplay for Luminosity. And it is getting away from them. They've got one final chance here before they have to reverse sweep. As Tox back to the corner. He's not going to play that ball any further. Metza just tries to make it awkward. He's done exactly that. Atomic back out into the midfield. Relating Wave, as always, holds the midfield strong. Buys more time. The ball will drop to the floor. And Endpoint are 3-0 up.
Well, Shogun, there you go. There's your 3 1-0s in a row.
Don't do this to me. All right,
no sweep yet. No perfect sweep yet. Luminosity have called a timeout. I really feel that they probably should have been calling after the last game just to try and stop that Seiko momentum. Although it wasn't a Seiko wonder play that got the goal here. It was just some sharp shooting by Metanoris at the very start of the game, followed up by some great defense from Endpoint for the entirety of the game. Namely, that save from Metanoris on the goal line. You haven't just chip it over an attempted dunk from Luminosity. Not just save the shot that was coming his way, but also clear the ball to safety. Also, Relating Wave's confident challenges. They're all showing up here. Endpoint looking like they're back at their best, and that's a terrifying sight for any team in Europe.
Johnny, I appreciate you talking for all of that, but I'm going to speak to you right now as Shogun the person, not Shogun the caster. Please be 1-0. Please, come on. Look, I know it's a big, important game with lots of implications. But what have we ever had a 1? Where's our stats? 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. Have we had it? Is this a scorigami?
Just look at Seiko. He is chilling to the max.
In the zone.
They are so calm. I mean, if the Luminosity timeout here was to try and get Endpoint to overthink this one, I don't think it's worked at all. These guys are just relaxing. If we do see LG win at the next game, I would love to see another Endpoint timeout just like this one, just fully relaxed. They're just walking about, probably ordering. They're probably like choosing what they're going to get for lunch later on today, or dinner, I guess. It is getting to that time. Although for gamers, it could definitely be lunch still. You can't really rattle these guys.
For all we know.
Yeah, it could very well be breakfast, midnight snack for
brunch. 10 p.m. brunch.
Later on. You can let us know what you think Endpoint are most likely to be ordering if it is food decisions being made right now.
I want everybody right now, if you are at home, hashtag RLCS and just tell us how much you want the 1-0 series to happen, all right? You're watching history at the moment. It's never happened, according to Direct. Please? Pretty please? Not, am I asking too much? Yes.
No.
Do I want it to happen? Yeah, I mean, it's one more game. Come on.
I don't think you're asking too much.
Only 4 goals.
I don't think you're asking too much. I feel like this is absolutely possible.
This is why I'm glad I've got you as my casting partner here, Johnny, because if I was with Cole or Stumpy, they would be against me right now. They'd be like, oh, come on, Luminosity, get the goal. You've got my back. I appreciate this.
Oh, of course. Just want you to be happy, Shogun, as I'm sure everybody else does as well.
I'll find a different reason to be miserable in that hour.
Endpoint could really do it here. I think they're defending brilliantly. They're really playing for each other in defense. They're never leaving a ball undefended, never leaving a ball unchallenged, and they're not rushing. They're taking their time. A lot of teams today have made mistakes by just rushing positions, jumping for no reason, and taking risks that they don't have to. Endpoint playing just a flawless game at the moment, which is working brilliantly against Luminosity, who often do try to play off the mistakes of their opponents. And you can't do that against Endpoint. You're not going to get any mistakes to work with. So it's either mechanics or outplays. What's it going to be for Luminosity? Are they going to try and just bully Endpoint into submission, keep them in the back corner, steal all the boosts away, bump them around, or will it be those huge outplays? We know that they've got both those options at their disposal. but they have got to do it now or suffer a sweeping loss to Endpoint.
And we'll see what they can do, but this series has been a brilliant display of what makes Endpoint so good. Seiko's always going to get... Whoa!
I'm sorry to say, I feel like there might have already been a goal, so we don't even get to see the hope of your 1-0.
The one time I get the 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, and it doesn't count.
Oh, no, and it's off an Endpoint mistake as well. The double commit, nobody defending the net. Who would have thought that 3 perfect games for Endpoint would lead into an immediate mistake in Game 4? Couldn't be me. But there you have it. The perfect 1-0 sweep in a best of 7 is already over. Luminosity's chances looking significantly better. They've scored infinitely more goals in this game than they have in the other 3 combined.
Who got it as well? It was Atomic. Right? At least it was Atomic. If anyone was going to get it, I'm happy Atomic got it.
I think that was his 17th shot of the series, but I wouldn't take my word on that. Definitely go fact check me on this one.
Well, now that they are on the board, we'll see how long it lasts. At this point, we've got to commit the opposite direction.
Yeah.
First sweep with only 1-0s.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm with you.
No one claims bias casting. I'm biased for a scoreline, not for a team.
We're biased towards drama and entertainment.
That would be drama and entertainment.
So
especially if Luminosity are the team to move on. They do currently trail Endpoint by, I believe, 60 points. So it's about a round and a bit in that lower bracket. So
yeah, they do need to finish further, more than 1 round ahead of Endpoint, more than 1 position ahead of Endpoint here in the bracket to make up that point gap.
Atomic up yet again. Goes for the backboard. He's got no more boost available, but the defender didn't quite know that. Had to make sure they were on their toes. And according to Direct, that was the 17th shot from Atomic.
Aha!
That has to be a record, surely.
What, you mean me being right about a stat like that for the first time? Oh!
I wasn't going to go there.
Oh!
No, not quite. Seiko will get rid of it. 3 minutes left here. And Endpoint for the first time, trying to chase down the game. No, I would never imply that you are not right, all right? You had my back, I've got yours.
Thank you. Still 1-0. That's all that matters. For now. Not anymore, though.
Johnny! Johnny! Why?
Oh, well, play.
Use your powers for good next time.
That's a great play, though. Mind game on the flip reset. Chips it over the challenge. This time it's Seiko profiting off a huge play from one of his teammates. They're still looking for that sweep on LG to all but secure their spot for the major. Endpoint couldn't care less about your fancy 1-0 scenarios. They just want to go to LA.
They do. You know what? I can respect it. I don't like it, but I can respect it. Anyway, Unbiased Gun is now returned to the casting booth as to look down at this 1-0. 1-1. 2 minutes left here. Metzer looks to change exactly that.
Whoa.
Not bins.
What a snipe by Metsanoris. Ixo getting massively denied by Seiko. He's looking to clear the ball down the line. Seiko deflects it into the middle without even jumping. That's just a great knowledge of the 50-50 by Seiko. Metsanoris with perfect positioning. First on the scene. No one from LG ready to attack that infield pass. It's tough to see that infield pass coming, so you can understand why. But hey, Metsa was ready, Endpoint were ready, LG weren't.
Overlaying wave now, looking to cause a little bit more chaos. Minute 50 on the clock. Metsa still sticking around. He even fakes challenging it. It gets Atomic to move. Endpoint have been at just another level throughout this series. And despite the fact that the timeout has worked somewhat for Luminosity, they've only got 1 goal. It's nearly 20 minutes. Relating wave. Looks to delay it, and Metzer actually got caught out.
Oh.
Lucky to see that shot not on target.
It's a nice center ball. Oh my goodness, what a save by Metza.
For it.
Diving save, blocking the only part of the goal that was in danger. Such a good pass by Luminosity. They've had some brilliant setups today. Some of these attempted assists have been top drawer. And honestly would have worked against the majority of teams in this competition. Endpoint are not one of them. Now, Luminosity are just 1 minute away from the lower bracket. I need to remind you, this is not the exit of their competition should they lose here, but it becomes a whole lot harder.
Yeah, Absolutely does. And that lower bracket does not look fun for anybody, especially when you're a team like Luminosity that needs all the points they can get. Still a win here puts Endpoint, as previously mentioned, into tiebreaker to go to LA at minimum. And that's if results go against them. It is as close to being secured without actually being secured. 30 seconds now. Seiko waits. And we him and Metza. Metza goes early. Seiko just guides the ball over to the corner. Ends up losing the 100 boost, but it's got his team a bit of time, and it's the player that he wanted. Relating Wave, who doesn't get there, actually. Toxic shot.
Oh, no.
Straight at Seiko, and there has been the difference maker. Great way of creating opportunities. No shooting to go along with it.
They still got one more chance, though. It falls to Tox. Seiko reads the fake and blocks the dangerous shot. Now we're on to 0 seconds. LG still not done, though. Tox is going to jump at this. Decent pop into the middle, but Metsonoris is first on the scene. He's used all of his boost to get to this ball, though. There might still be something here for Luminosity. Relating Wave not in a comfortable position. Drops it down. That's half a chance for Relating Wave with a recovery save. Well dealt with, and honestly, quite an awkward position. That was about as good as Luminosity could have hoped for on 0 seconds. Endpoint complete the sweep. Not the perfect 1-0 sweep that you were hoping for, but still just as effective. They have confirmed that the worst case scenario for them is a tie breaker for LAN, and that would need 0-0 Nation to win this entire event. So I think Endpoint fans, you could be absolutely thrilled with the team. They've stepped it up in Regional 3, where other teams have been falling and losing their chance at the major. Endpoint have taken theirs.
Seiko looks no different right now compared to when we even went into this series. He has been tweeting. He's been in a very, very specific mindset, and it's a mindset they'll want to try and keep him in because Endpoint, defensively, rock solid. And it was only one goal that went in for Luminosity across 20 minutes in the tournament that Luminosity have looked at their very best, and now they are well up against it. That lower bracket is waiting for them, and some tough matches if they want to get themselves into that top 5.
Yeah, Luminosity have got to get at least second. That removes the chance of them qualifying for the major with a 3rd place or better finish. Now they need 2nd minimum. And, you know, we have to wait and see, first of all, later on today, if they can take down EG. That's a must for Luminosity to stay in the running. 0-0 Nation going to be coming up next. They have to win the whole event to even have a small chance. So it really is starting to look likely that Endpoint and EG are going to be those 2 teams to take it home. But yeah, who knows? Luminosity, I feel like the 4-0 didn't do justice to them. I think that they're better than that. I think they can still make a run here.
Yeah, it was definitely a series with not many goals. I could have done with maybe 2 less. I think that would have been my sweet spot, but we are going to have to move on. When we come back from break, it is our 2nd upper bracket match.